Hi everyone, it's Dom again, and it's week 3 of binary trading. Now today I'm sitting here in my pajamas because I finished trading at about 9 o'clock this morning, or 9:20, something like that, and it's now 11:47, so I should not really be sitting here in my pajamas, but I am. I will be getting dressed shortly, not that you needed to know that, but I thought I'd quickly do this video and get it out as soon as possible so that I don't have to do it later. Now, this week has been a bit of a mixed bag, really, and Monday wasn't great. I think I only made $16 after a lot of investment. The markets were not working in my favor, but I did finish with a slight profit, and a slight profit is better than no profit or loss. Tuesday, again, it was okay. I didn't take that many trades. I didn't see that many opportunities, and I didn't think it was safe. That's why I just stepped away. And Wednesday, again, I took the trades because they looked great, but unfortunately, there was definitely some sort of problem with the system. This is what you've got to watch when you're trading: is if things are not working the way you want them to, you need to just step away. And what happened was I didn't realize that until after I'd actually tried to place a trade, and I'll detail more about that when we get to the Wednesday. But for now, Thursday and Friday were great. I ended up on a high, so that was good. So let's get on with it. And here's the detailed breakdown. On Monday, the 20th of Jan, I placed a trade for $329. So we started at 6588. 5% of 6588 is 329. What I then did is I saw it continuously moving in that direction. I took a further trade. I doubled up on that trade, so I took another trade for 658. That's 329 times 2, and it continuously went in that direction. So I trebled it, which I increased my trade size to 658 plus 329, which is 987. Now this method is called martingaling and is not advisable. If you've got a smaller account, I wouldn't bother with it because chances are you are going to wipe your account out if you're not careful. I'm purely martingaling because of the fact that the account's big and, well, not that big, but it's decent size, and it's a demo account, so I don't really have anything to lose. So if I move this on now, we can see that I then went in again and I took another $987 trade. I didn't want to double up. Well, it's not I didn't want to double up. I couldn't double up again because the maximum trade size it would allow me to trade was 1,000. So I just thought, well, I'll just go with 987 and leave it as it was. If we continue moving down, we can see that the first $329 trade failed, so that was no good. The second 658 trade, that was successful, so that's increased the balance, as you can see there. The third $987 trade didn't come through, so it stayed the same. And the fourth one, the $987 trade, that was successful. Now that pushed my balance up to 6604, which is further past where we started, because we started at 6588 this week. Now it's not a lot, it's only like $16, and that was a lot of work and a lot of exposure to make $16, but you don't know that it's going to happen until it happens. When I saw that and I thought I've only made $16 for all the time that I sat there, which wasn't that much time, but in comparison with where I usually am at this sort of time in the morning, I just thought it's not worth it, and I stepped away from the markets. I said no, I can see that going wrong, so I left it. Tuesday, the 21st of Jan, I've taken a trade here for $330. That was at 10 o'clock in the morning. The payout rate was good, 85%, hence why I took it. I then decided to double up because of the way the market was going. So 660 was 330 times 2. And as we can see, when the time expired, the first trade, the 330, failed, but the 660 had passed and it was successful. So I pushed my balance back up to 6835. So as you can see, it was looking good. That's the total amount of trades I took for that day. I didn't want to go in too deep. I'm trying to restrict the amount of trades that I do place. Less is more. Right, okay, so moving it along. Wednesday the 22nd of Jan. This day was very dodgy. As you can see, there are 3 trades placed here: 341, 341, 341. That was not my intention. I was supposed to place 1 trade on the euro pound, and it had an 80% payout. Now the thing is when I clicked initially, it didn't register. So it was at the point where I wanted it to go, so I clicked again. Again, it didn't register. It was just sitting there, and there was no trade successfully placed. You didn't. What you're seeing now, yes, you're seeing it now, but when I actually did it, it was just blank. So I took it again, and it didn't. Nothing showed. So I left it, and I thought, hang on a minute, I'm just going to leave it for a minute. And then I left it, and literally a few seconds later, the trade's placed, which meant 3 of them were now all placed, and they were at a different strike price. This wasn't a bad thing because one of them was in the right place, but the rest of them, I wanted them to be in a bit of a, well, the strike price is not the price I wanted. It needed to be spread out a bit, and it wasn't. So I wasn't best pleased with that. And when I saw that happening, I thought, okay, well, maybe there's a glitch in the system. So I left it initially, but then what I then did is I saw that the market was still going in this particular direction, and I took another trade. So that's overexposure already. That's $341, right? Times 1, 2, 3, 4. So a lot of exposure there. 5, 10, 15. That's 20% already exposed. What I then went and did is I waited a bit and decided to place another trade, and $1,000 trade, as you can see there. Now that was the last trade I was going to place, because that took my account right down to 4471. And I thought, if this doesn't work, then there's no point going in again, because the fact that it was giving me a problem every time I was trying to place a trade, told me that the broker system that they're using, perhaps there's a bandwidth problem, or something else is going on that's slowing the system down and causing me to take trades when I don't want to take them. So I left it, and I thought I'll ride it out and see how we go. Now, if we follow this through, what we can see is that the $341 trades that I placed, all of them came through. However, the $1,000 trade that I did place, well, see it says 613 there. Another one that was for 3 of them. Another one did place. I just haven't taken a screenshot of it. But my balance has gone up to 6926, so I'm much further forward than I started with. However, the $1,000 trade I placed didn't come through, and I didn't bother chasing that because I knew that today it just wasn't working the way it should. So I left it, called it a day, and said we'll come back tomorrow and see how the markets are tomorrow. So moving on, Thursday the 23rd of Jan. I just placed a trade there. So if you look at my previous balance, it was 6926. 5% of 6926 is now 346. Brought the balance down to 6580. I then placed another $346 trade, keeping that 5%, so we are 10% exposed there. And after the time it expired for the first trade, the $346 one had come through, and the second $346 one also had come through, pushing that balance right up now to 7397. So we were looking good. I didn't take any more trades that day. I just left it, made what I needed to make. Like I said, less is more. Right, Friday the 24th of Jan, that's today. I went in this morning, saw that the positioning of the markets were quite good. The problem was the positionings were fine, but the payouts on the broker were crap. I think Euro USD had something like 34% or 44% or something, and it was in a prime position. But I just thought, I'm not going to take that, because it's just not worth the reward for what you're putting yourself through. It's not worth it. And even the USD JPY, I think they had a similar, I think it was like 63%, which is much better. But I like to take trades when they're like 78% or above 70%. That's when I like to trade, and not below it. I found the GBP JPY was on 82%. It wasn't in exactly the prime position, but I waited for it to get there. And what you've got to be careful of is sometimes when you're sitting there waiting, and I think I mentioned this in the previous video, the market reward percentage will change. So you could be looking at your time and looking at your charts and everything, and you forget to look at the percentage, and then you go and take your percentage because you thought it was like 80%, and then all of a sudden it's like 40%, and you're just like, oh, I should have checked that. So always check that as well. There's so many things to check. You've really got to be on point when you're doing this. You've got to be focused. You've got to be paying attention to everything. Otherwise, yeah, you may win, and you push your account up a little bit, but you've got to think, is it worth all the stress? Because that it shouldn't be stressful, to be honest. Right, so as we can see here, I just took that one trade, and then I took another one. Again, I didn't double up this time. I just took a $369 trade again, and at the end of the time expired on the after the first trade ended, as you can see, that pushed my balance up again. So I was back at 7330, and then the final trade I placed today also won. So it's now pushed that balance all the way up to 8002.53. So I'm quite happy with that. Pulled out of the market. Enough was enough. Let's see what happens next week. Now, remember, next week is going to be the final week that I'm doing it on a demo account. From the 1st of Feb, I don't know if that's, I think that's a Saturday, so I'm not going to trade on the Saturday, obviously. I will be trading on the Monday, and I will be attempting to go live, so I'm going to have to sign up properly and register and do all that palaver. Once I've done that, I will then do exactly the same thing I'm doing now, making videos, but with a live account, just so that you can see what's going on and what's really happening. If it's working the same, which it should be, because when I did do a live account, I used exactly the same strategies, and this was about 3 years ago when I did live. I did the same strategies and it was fine. So I'm assuming that whether it's demo or live, there should be no difference, no change. So we should be making some money. Of course, if I am not successful, you're also going to see that, because I'm going to be completely transparent. I'm not going to hide my losses and show all my winnings, because I think that's just a bit stupid, really, because you're not portraying a true visual of what's really happening. Because a lot of the time when you go in, with no knowledge or anything like that, you do find that you will end up losing a lot more than you make. But that's only if you don't manage your money properly. If you manage your money properly and you discipline yourself, the probability is you are going to make more money. But like I said, you have to be very, very disciplined and very patient, and not try and make trades happen that are not there. So yeah, well, we'll see what happens. Thanks for watching, and let's see what happens next week. Bye now.